Welcome to Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball, presented by Nike. We've got just 2 weeks left to play, and the chase for the championship is on. Brittany Abercrombie and Betty De La Cruz Mejia have served notice, carving out a strong lead over the rest of the field, but it's no time to get comfortable. The Week 4 draft saw our rosters get completely rewritten. Old friends reunited, dynamic duos now squaring off, and familiar faces returning to the captain's chair. Who will try and track down Betty and Brittany? We're about to find out. Week 4 of Athletes Unlimited, starting now. Here's a look at the top 10 as we get ready to get Week 4 going. Brittany and Betty starting to run away with things. Morgan Hens giving chase back into the captain's chair. Lecator in at fourth, and Kojima was so close to that captain's spot. Some movement sure to occur here again with two big matches on the way. With that, we welcome you inside the Arizona Athletic Grounds. Courtside here, joined by the Olympian Key Michael, Greg Meskel here with you. Well, Key, just when we were starting to figure out these rosters and get comfortable, the draft threw everything in a disarray. We've had a whole variety of new alignments. What are you looking for here tonight?
Well, I love it about Athletes Unlimited is that you get to see these rivalries become teammates, you get to watch the leaderboard, but you also get to watch some players that maybe were riding the bench now in that starting role. One of them for me is Heidi Casanova tonight. I think she's going to be phenomenal. She has to be for Team Hens. She was the first opposite pick, and I'm watching out for her.
It's so competitive to get on the court. You know, so many of these women are just dying for their chance to get out there. Let's talk captains now. Morgan Hens, a captain back in Week 1. She returns here in Week 4.
Yeah, Hensville is becoming a well-known destination in Athletes Unlimited. Morgan putting on a defensive clinic for fans day in and day out. Even USA Olympian and fellow Stanford alum Eric Shoji called her out as his libero of the week recently. She's back in the captain's chair for a second time this season. A very similar draft style that saw her go 1 and 2 in Week 1, but her main priority when she was picking these teams, defense first.
And from Morgan to Betty, a name that has become synonymous with AU, back in the captain's spot once more.
Yeah, and it seems like the other captains show Betty their love by stealing her players, and if that is the case, then they were love bombing on Tuesday because Betty has a completely new roster. Fresh faces in every position, but does it matter? Well, likely not, because Betty's proven time and time again she is a one-woman tornado of volleyball skills. Everything from her aggressive topspin serve to her plethora of power. She's going to get her kills. Who she shares the court with, well, it's almost irrelevant.
That's how good she is. That's how good her teams have been. You get a good look there. Maddie Bug talked about athletes that are excited to get opportunities. Maddie's been looking for her chance to get back on the court. She gets the start here tonight with Team De La Cruz Mejia in the orange going up against Team Hens in the blue. Right out of the gate here, Casanova on cue. Betty has to go back for that one, hammers it off the block as we're underway here. Maddie Kingdon-Rischel, good dig there. Last touch up front, and the point goes to the team in orange to get us started.
That's something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. You called it out. Maddie Bug getting her starting role here. She's gone on and off that starting position, but for Betty lost her starting setter in Natty Valentina Anderson, who happens to be on the other side of the net, so that's a very different look for Betty.
Little tip here. They go quick set, nice dig. Roll shot controlled by Betty. And now Willow Johnson tries to load it up. Rally continues. Casanova denied, last touch off of Casanova, and the points De La Cruz Mejia.
Well, here's the thing about Casanova is Morgan Hens told me before the match she's been watching her rip balls. They were together in a team last week, and she saw how strong she can be. However, when you're ripping balls at the net versus when there's a block, can be a very different thing.
Attack error here. And this is the challenge of getting playing time. We talked about how competitive it is, what you're showing in practice and in training. How does that translate to finally get onto the court? Long time coming for Heidi Casanova. Going upstairs to grab that one, Kingdon-Rischel. Good hustle from Bug. Betty just puts that across. It'll come right back to Kingdon-Rischel. Quick set. Nice job there by Bug, dealing quickly to Henline. Outside once more, the block ready, but this one works for Maddie Kingdon-Rischel and Team Hens. They're on the board.
And it's about time because you don't want to give Betty's side too far of an advantage. They had 3 points there. If that point had gone their direction, a 4-0 start, yes, you can come back from it, obviously, but that's not the way Hens' team wants to try and dig themselves out of a hole.
And Betty's been so good in the captain's chair, 7-2 coming into tonight, 26-13 overall. When she's in charge, she typically wins. That's a beautiful set to the middle, and Hanline hammers it for the point for Team Orange.
Hanline was phenomenal last week. She had her best week yet, and she was voted in one of those MVP spots. Not the top MVP we thought she should have. However, that was a big pick for Betty. I think that was an excellent choice by using her. She kind of worked herself into a good position in this season.
Betty now serving.
Oh, not
beautiful hustle by Valentine Anderson. Johnson rebuffed. And the point to Team Hens. It's funny you mentioned the roster and the way it all comes together. Let's get a second look here. This play.
I mean, this is a huge defense. There's the block to end it, but it was Nati's defense that kept that alive, and that is why she goes so high. As a setter, has other strengths as well.
That one somehow gets across, dancing off the tape, but then it works back in favor of Team Hens.
Nati proving her strength again and again. Get her a defense, get her a tight ball at the net, and she will make something of it. You talk about smaller setters that maybe are a weakness in the block. Doesn't matter. She'll make up for it with plays like that.
Hens fights that off, and nobody home there for Valentine Anderson, a rare miscue. So give the point back to Team De La Cruz Mejia. If you're Betty, you've had to pick so many different athletes because your teams keep getting rated.
Yeah.
She's had to develop a familiarity with almost everyone out here. And an ace. What a start here for Team De La Cruz Mejia. Again, they took that initial push from Team Hens. Now they get a couple back.
Here's another way that you can prove your value. If you're a middle, it's not just about your blocking and your defense and your swings through the middle. It's about bringing something from the end line. That time doesn't pass, but I like that she's being aggressive. And that other serve that gets her an ace, that's a pretty good ratio there. One error.
Hand line delivers the ace then into the net. Don't forget all of these individual stats accumulating individual points. A service error, that's a -8. After she was unable to get it across. That was followed by +12, however, for the ace. So it all goes into the tally here as part of our overall leaderboard. Johnson, good dig there by Casanova. Valentine Anderson just pops it across and nobody home.
That's an unexpected error. Just a communication error as well. So you watch this ball, pretty good swing there from Willow, has to come over. Free ball, that has to be taken care of, and that's a simple ball that's missed.
Dixon, and last touch there, frustration for Valentine Anderson. Dixon so tough up front and make it now 7-5. I also wonder some of those plays where it's obviously a little miscommunication. The first set in the week, new rosters, teams still kind of coming together here after all the adjustments.
Yeah, 100%, and that's really a lot about what this league is you have to be quick to adapt. You have to be easy to work with. You have to find your rhythm, not only your own personal rhythm, but if you're a setter, if you're a middle, if you're a libero, you got to figure out how to work with very different players next to you.
8-5 now after Drews, and then more Danny Drews up front. She was a captain last week. Tammy Thomas Ayalara, and now Johnson. Hens is there. Back row for Kingdon-Rischel. Betty loads up. Casanova takes that one full speed. Now she gets a chance to return fire on the attack and scores.
A nice long swing out of Casanova. She didn't put her full heat on that. You saw it with a bit of a roll, but she got enough spin on to make it difficult to deal with in the backcourt.
Eddie Casanova from Cuba has been part of the Cuban national team and has played all over the world. And now serving here, Valentine Anderson. A little out of sorts here, and they have to just put it across. Free ball chance for Team Hens. Here comes Drews. Betty. Drews has to go back for it. They cover up well. Casanova up big. Put some more pace on that one. Back-to-back kills for Haiti Casanova.
Betty having to do a lot of work there in the backcourt, but I love that Haiti's also getting herself off the net. It's an out-of-system play, meaning libero has to take the set, so you know she's got to work with a double block in front of her. Clever to go down line.
Outside to Drews. She goes long. And we are going to get a challenge right away. Drews immediately signaling for a touch. And so we will have a captain's challenge. Each team entitled to 2 challenges per set. So we're going to look here at a touch.
I think that's a good challenge as well. Danny looking pretty confident with that call, going immediately to her captain. I think 3 or 4 players on the court thinking they saw the same thing. And if they did, well, if they didn't, the scoreline's looking like an 8-8. So they'll want to keep that little 2-point lead.
Yeah, as it currently stands, it was called no touch, and she just hit it long. So you're right, it'd be a nice 2-point swing there in favor of De La Cruz Mejia if this is overturned. Did someone get a piece of this?
Oh, interesting. I'm not sure.
Well, it turns out there was a fingertip on that one.
Yeah, tough to tell from those replays, but no arguments from Casanova.
And Drews knew it, and so that'll reverse some points and give the team in orange the edge. They go in front now 9-7 and serving. Back to Casanova, and she puts that wide. Too much heat there.
That ball's a little inside, but I like Nati trying to fling that to Casanova, especially, and again, I talk about this a lot, but if your players, one of your players has just made an error or just been touched off the block, get them that ball again. Try and get them back in the game mentally.
Little mishandle there. They clean it up. Drews, just absolute smoke from the back row, and Valentin Anderson there just couldn't get enough of it.
Betty, interesting, last week went for a reception outside hitter, one who's known more for her passing and her kind of stability in that sense. Now she's taking a big gun in Danny Drews.
Quick set to the middle, denied. Rosenthal turned back. Big block up front from Tori Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon reading that so well, and again, the combination with changing up setters every week, this is what you get. Some trouble.
Plus 12 for Tori Dixon. Coming up, we head to the classroom with Key. We're talking week 4 draft strategies when we return. Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball is sponsored by Nike. Welcome back, Team De La Cruz Mejia on a 4-point run out in front of Team Hens 12-7 here in the first. Now let's head in the classroom with our own Key Michael.
All right, Greg, we are talking draft strategy because Betty's team has been pilfered. Only 2 players remaining from last week. What also has changed her strategy in itself. Typically, she likes to go early with her setter and libero. However, Nati absolutely stolen, so Butterhand's going to be over there. But she does have Maribag, who likes to give a high ball and tight, and Namaris Velez-Agosto. You'll remember that from last season if you were watching. The first thing Betty's done is she's taken Danny Drews, who we know is being a big swinger this season. This combination is brand new, so I'm looking out for that one. Also, watch these blocking hands here. Handline had a great week last week. On the other side, you know you're going to see Morgan Hens giving you some absolute pancakes. The other thing she did, she grabbed Maddie Kingdom Rochelle. This is also a brand new combination, which I'm excited for. The one thing I had questions about, look down here, 3 middle blockers in a row. That's going to be a defensive strategy first and foremost, but the question I had mainly coming in was Heidi Casanova. Can she do enough? She's getting a starting opposite role, but Is this going to be strong enough to shut down Betty's side? Well, brand new day, brand new draft. Only time will tell on the court.
Tremendous emoji usage key, covering all the bases with both of our teams, and so good to get that insight of how these teams come together. Keith pointed it out earlier on. Betty had her go-to setter in Natalia Valentina Anderson, but in general, setters in the draft, they have dropped from the first couple of weeks to week 3 and now week 4. As captains develop their strategies and what they're looking for, you see they have a little bit of a better idea of how they want to craft their teams, and hence a captain in her own right diving to secure that ball. And now Dixon on the move, and she puts it wide, and they'll say the point goes to Team Hens. Welcome back, Teach.
Thanks, did you learn something?
I did, it was fantastic.
There's gonna be a pop quiz at the end of this match.
How excited were you to see 3 middles go in a row? You must have been delighted.
I loved it, but I was a little bit curious. I thought she hadn't taken her opposite yet. So I love the fact that she's shoring up that middle spot, because maybe some injuries, hence saying that she had to make sure that there was some security in that role, let's say.
Sure. Last touch off, Team Hens give the kill to the crew in orange. 13-8. They go in front. We get some changes here. So good start again for Team De La Cruz Mejia after Team Hens battled in the early stages of this first set. Now they've built a bit of a cushion here, 13-8. Into the antenna. And bring a point back. Make it 14-8.
Paige Briggs-Romine was also another player that I was curious about, getting taken pretty early on in the 5th pick by Betty. Now you know why. Strong serve.
Good little tip there. Willow Johnson going for it. We talked earlier, Key, about players getting opportunities. This is just the 12th set that Paige Briggs-Romine has appeared in this season. So again, it's got to be tough. You played in this league. Want your opportunity. It doesn't come every set for every player.
Yeah, and you kind of got to show what you can do in training. And a perfect example of that is Heidi Casanova playing with Hens last week, giving everything she could, even though she wasn't in a starting role, showing what she could do in those few trainings they had together. On the other side, someone like Hanline getting her chance. She wasn't necessarily in her best form in the first couple of weeks, but in the last few weeks, tonight included, she is looking on fire. So you're exactly right, Greg. When you get a chance, you've got to show what you can do.
Hanline there with the kill. The block, Betty right in front. Kingdon Rischel, last touch off of De La Cruz Mejia, and give the point to Team Hens.
Along that same line, Greg, that you were talking about, in showing what you can do, I like that the teams are using a lot more subs than we used to see. I was speaking to Molly McCage about this, and season 1, which I played, there wasn't a lot of shifting around. People kind of stuck to what was on the court. Now the captains are really taking on that kind of coaching role and saying, let's get a double sub going, let's bring in a serving sub, really being strategic.
Block up front. They kept it alive. How'd that get across? Kingdon Rischel tries to finish it off. Johnson with the pancake. Drews. Outside, Kingdon Rischel stuffed. They go the other way, excuse me.
Ooh, big one. That was looking good for the orange side. A couple of lucky balls, one just dribbling over. But here's why Kingdon Rischel continues to be dominant. She takes big swings, even from off the net. Even when she sees that blocker just a tiny bit late, she will take advantage.
Casanova serving, right back to the net. And excitement there from Kingdon Rischel. Brings some good energy.
And there's another reason, right? Maybe that's something that we haven't gotten a chance to see. That serve from Heidi Casanova is an absolute bomb.
Showing us the full arsenal today, making the most of her opportunity. Fires that one into the antenna, but again, going for it here, right?
Yeah.
Getting her chance and not holding anything back. De La Cruz Mejia now to serve. She's got a powerful serve in her own right. Pushing that to the back row. And now to Johnson. And Kingdon Rischel standing tall once again with the block off the attack and give the point to the team in blue.
So here's another question I have. Willow Johnson got the nod from Betty over Cat Bell. Cat Bell was still on the board when Johnson was chosen. I thought they had a great connection last week. Now I'm looking at Johnson. She's had 0 kills from 7 attempts.
Meanwhile, Team Hens continues to battle back. If you put yourself in Betty's shoes, why Willow Johnson then?
I'd have to ask her because I thought the connection was good. It might be a personnel thing. It might be just a sense of... I have no idea, honestly. I'm stumped.
We will investigate. We'll get some answers.
Because I think Cat Bell did a great job of taking that role, taking some of the power necessity off of Betty. Willow can do the same. But if something's working, if it's clicking, so many other changes, I would have kept that the same.
Meanwhile, Kingdon Rischel continues. Yeah, especially because there was so much upheaval, right? It was one of the few opportunities Betty had to keep that team intact from last week with everything else being taken away.
Exactly. Manami Kojima was already stolen. Valentin Anderson was gone. So I think I would have kept with some normality.
17-15. Marley Monzere on to serve. Across the way to Drews. And that is off the block and out of play. So make it 18-15 now. Team De La Cruz Mejia leading Team Hens. Drews now with 3 kills. Demi Thomas-Ayalara up big. It's back to Drews. Looks to place that ball in the back row. They'll try it again. Casanova. I didn't close the block there, Keith.
Yeah, you gotta block.
Had to get my hands out.
Straight over.
Yeah.
Penetrate over the program here.
There's a good mixture of volleyball and TV terms from the program monitor, hands over.
The monitor, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Clearly I'm too new at this.
Drews once more, Hens gets a piece of it. Goodness. And again, almost no one home. Dixon just smiling as she has to go down and get that one. Casanova pushes it back across. Johnson now. Frustration there up front for Rosenthal as she was in position but could not hang on.
Hens is making it so tough for anyone to score on her side, and we knew she would. This is how she climbed up that leaderboard with defense after defense, but couldn't get the point for her team.
That's off the block of Orange and give the point to Temi Thomas-Ayalara, so make it 19-17. That's a +8 for Thomas-Ayalara in her individual tally. And gets it back to 2 here in the set, 19-17, Hens trailing.
My question though, is that her first kill of the night? I believe it is. It's not enough if you want to be a big, strong, outside hitting presence.
We have confirmed first kill of the night for Temi Thomas-Ayalara. I was off balance there to De La Cruz Mejia. Kingdon Rischel. And a little wide. They may take a look at this. Everyone kind of paused for a moment to see if it'd be signaled in. And Morgan Hens signaling a challenge. This will be an in or out challenge here, it looks like. And again, a 20-17 key. This is a huge moment for Team Hens to keep things tight.
Absolutely. They scrapped back into the match. You saw them almost even there when another challenge went the other way. But if this were not to go their way, they're starting to get into danger zone. As you get into the 20s and further, that's when you have to keep it tight. You cannot let that lead either exacerbate or continue. That looks like it might have tagged it. What do you think?
That angle was tough. The other angle, it looked like maybe a little bit got the line, but I didn't feel like I saw enough of it one way or another to make a really, really firm choice.
Well, in volleyball.
It's a nice vague answer from me.
Yeah, I know. I love
Keith.
that. I love that. Well, my favorite thing about this is that it only has to tag it by a millimeter. I mean, literally the width of a hair is all it has to be in. So chances are, if it looks like it's close, then it probably isn't. That's my rule of thumb.
Based on that scientific breakdown,
So
now
scientific, right?
I do feel like maybe it was in, but again, the review continues here. We talked about those captains' challenges, 2 per set.
Well, that's why I'm not a science teacher, I guess. I'll stick to draft breakdowns and maybe some vocabulary, but not the sciences. Keep me away from math and science.
The call stands 20-17. So we'll see if this ends up being a bit of a turning point here. Can De La Cruz Mejia pull away now in this first set? Casanova, a blast.
That is her ball. That is the one that works so well. It's high, a little higher than Nati is used to putting up, but look how inside it is. She can really rip on that and get it away from Betty De La Cruz, who's been causing her so many problems.
And how about Heidi Casanova? This is just the 6th set she's played in this season. She came in with 1 kill. She's got 4 already here in this opening set. Service error there to give a point back, but making the most of her opportunity.
Yeah, to your point, I think she played in, like you said, 1 set in week 1, and then she got replaced and never saw the court again.
Kingdon Rischel, hence not folding up just yet. They claw back to within 2 here, 21-19. Again, a lot of value here in the overall set victory, plus 40 to all the winners that take any set. And so a lot at stake as we wind down this first, 21-19, De La Cruz Mejia leading. Error there for Heidi Casanova.
The danger for me right now is that Maddie Kingdon Rischel is doing a lot of the offensive load for Hench. She's got 9 points. Next closest is Casanova with 4, but you cannot have just one player firing. You've got to spread that offense out. I haven't seen the middles at all on Hench's team.
That's a good point. We haven't seen really much of anything right in front of those middles. Again, they go back outside to Kingdon Rischel.
Free ball. This got to go middle.
Thomas Ayala. Drews to the outside once more. Soft touch, that's down. And Kingdon Rischel called upon again and delivers.
She's a pretty solid choice, 9 times out of 10. However, I'm surprised at Nati not using Kaz Brown in that opportunity. They had a misconnection early on, but she hasn't tried to reestablish it yet, which is surprising to me.
Kingdon Rischel's been the go-to here. Drews off the block. Let's see where they go here. Back outside to Thomas Ayala. That works. Temi Thomas Ayala can help take some of that weight off of Kingdon Rischel. And a pivotal kill there to make it 22-21.
Thomas Ayala, someone else we kept our eyes on the last couple of weeks, been rising in terms of how much she plays and her draft value. Been really fun to watch.
Kingdon Rischel, she's been drafted in the first round each of the first 4 weeks of the season. Thomas Ayala, too much on it. And the point to De La Cruz Mejia, 23-21. Things are getting late here in the first.
The error is long, but I've got my eyes on Nati getting that ball up with an open hand pancake. And I thought I heard the bench saying, yep, that's something we practiced. We worked on that. And talking about a small blocker, she has to have those kind of skills as well. She comes down from the block, pops it up.
Kingdon Rischel there. Bug able to keep it alive, but they can't do much more with it. And just to build off your earlier point, a quick look at the stats. Middles for Hens, no kills out of any of the middles on the roster right now. It's come from everywhere else. 23-22. Here's Kaz Brown. Back set to Johnson. Thomas Ayalara off the touch, and Team Hens will tie things up at 23 here in the first.
Oh, that's a big swing, big moment for Tammy Thomas Ayalara. And again, one of the things you got to do when you get your chance is swing big. Don't be afraid. And that's exactly what she's done.
Off the tape, so close. Dixon keeps it alive. Drew's right back. Our first tie in this first set. Thomas Ayalara again works the block. Team Hens pulls in front, 24-23.
Do we see a timeout now? Because Team Hens are looking like a very different squad, putting some pressure on the serve.
And we will get a timeout called. What a turn of events here for Team Hens to battle back in this one. 24-23, Team Hens in front. Let's hear from the captain herself talking about winning back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year honors, one of the best in the business.
The 2023 Defensive Player of the Year is libero number 46, Morgan Hens.
There are so many talented players in this league, and so to have your teammates acknowledge you as like a Defensive Player of the Year is a huge honor.
Dug again by Hens, who's under it.
Morgan Hens with the play of the rally.
I love playing defense because it's the best feeling in the world when you get a great dig. But even better feeling when your team turns that dig into a point. It's a spark plug for your team. It can shift the momentum of a match. And I don't know, for me, it's like one of the most favorite feelings in the world.
I mean, I cannot relate as a middle blocker to the defensive feeling, but she is so right. And there's a reason she is the best in the biz, as you mentioned, because of that grit and that hustle. There's a look at some of the breakdown of the points in terms of what she's won so far. But she has been on the top. She has been pushing those points because she's getting dig after dig after dig. And you might think coming to this league, oh, it's only outside hitters, it's only opposites, they're going to get the points and be on the leaderboard. No, if you do your job, if you do your role in that terms of blocking if you're a middle blocker, defense if you're a libero, you can climb the leaderboard. She's a perfect example.
You get +5 for every dig. Morgan Hens makes them count. Also the only libero with a fictional town named after her, Hensville.
Fictional? What do you mean? We live here.
We do, we do. Fall is here, by the way, and the AU Pro Shop has you covered with the latest volleyball gear. Check out our online store at shop.auprosports.com. It's the destination for player merchandise, new arrivals, and exclusive styles you won't find anywhere else. Good look at some of our gear. So Betty and the team in orange finding themselves on the brink here. We come back out of the timeout, and it is set point here in the first. Team Hens coming all the way back. Kaz Brown serving. They'll go outside. Drews. Casanova fights it off. What hustle from Thomas Ayalara. Back to Drews, and we're knotted up at 24.
Ooh, what a defense. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but it's so clear that they were going to go to that outside spot over and over. They've got the small blocker in Nachi Valentin Anderson. That was the moment to capitalize it, and Orange did.
So 24 all. Remember, you must win by 2. Thomas Ayalara, look at the elevation, skying to the net to crush that one.
A hugely physical, dynamic player. She uses every single muscle to go straight up and then block straight through it. Perfection.
So bring it back now. Set point again here for Team Hens, 25-24. Valentin Anderson. Bug outside to Drews, and we'll tie it up once more. Danny Drews will keep this one going.
All right, so that's fascinating to me. Why was the libero the target there? I know that Nati, that's her strongest serve, is that corner to corner. She loves to go from zone 1 to zone 1, but I wouldn't put it on Velez Agosto there.
Drews now will serve. Thomas Ayalara has been a go-to, and she is locked in a cross-court snipe.
Snipe's a perfect way to put it, because that's straight in the court. I mean, that's not even corners, that's not end line, that is over the block and into the court.
Service error, they give another back. We go on, 26 all. Remember, De La Cruz Mejia, they had a 4-point lead not that long ago. It seemed as if they were going to sprint away with this. Team Hens, they came back, they tied it, took their first lead, and now they've had a couple of set points. We're even again here at 26. Kingdon Rischel crushing that off of Johnson. It's off the net, and the point back to Maddie Kingdon Rischel and Team Hens.
And the dynamic has shifted so much. As you mentioned, Greg, before we were seeing the orange side really strong, and that's because Betty was involved, Drews was involved. Now it's not just Maddie Kingdon, she's also got Temi Thomas-Ilara stepping up. 2 outside hitters that are doing some damage for Hens' side.
9 kills for Kingdon Rischel, 27-26, set point yet again. Betty off the block. Kingdon Rischel, can she finish it off? They'll call it in, give the point to Team Hens, and they take the first set 28-26, but we may have a challenge.
I mean, it's no surprise Betty's going to have a question about this. However, Hens' team doing real strong work to dig deep and make sure they were in a position to battle. Nope, no challenge.
Looks as if they'll decide against it. That discussion enough for Betty. And they fall in this one, 28-26. Give 40 points to everyone in Team Hens and the blue jerseys. Maddie Kingdon Rischel came to play in this one, 10 kills, helping Team Hens to a set 1 win.
Hey Mom, hey everyone, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching, love you guys. This is me tonight. Morgan's leading the dance party at the club tonight. You need a ball. Ow! Thank you. She's out of control, be careful. Tsunamis! Watch the tip, Chucky. Go, big, big. Cover, swing high. Hey!
Guys, hey, let's not wait for anyone to give us anything.
Yeah, me and you right here in the scene. Yes, I have you here. Yes, nice short, Mo. Watch her turn it this way. In, Mo. Big behind you.
Yes, come on.
The thing I'm noticing most about this is how much Maddie's talking. She's communicating. So one thing we talk a lot about in this league is how you're shifting with new players all the time. You've got to over-communicate. That's a perfect example of it.
And you saw the way she had some positive encouragement for Temi Thomas-Ilara as well. As we look back in this first set, she was so critical, but getting others involved really told the story as Team Hens picked up the win.
Yeah, she was dominant. She has been week after week one of the top picks in the draft, and this is why. She's hitting at 41% as an outside. That is big. She's getting a lot of jump balls high, wide. She's cleaning up a lot for Nachi Valentin Anderson, who's gone to her almost more than anybody else, and there's why. She's getting those kills, she's getting that conversation, and look at that highlighted number right there, 21 kills to 12. Those are the numbers that put Team Hens back on the map. They look like they were done and dusted in the first half of that set. Not the case if you've got people like Maddie Kingdon Rischel just dominating out there.
From Phoenix, so back home, this is her first season, has been playing pro since 2015, and like so many of our athletes here in AU, they have circled the globe in this pursuit of the game they love. Azerbaijan, South Korea, China, of course, played her college ball at U of A, and now here at the Arizona Athletic Grounds, and a big first set. Key Michael, Greg Meskel here with you. Week 4 getting underway, and De La Cruz Mejia, they have been on a run of getting off to good starts on the week. Betty, when she's been the captain, has been so successful. So it's a bit of adjustment now to try and figure out a way back in set 2.
Well, it's interesting because we've seen other teams kind of pick her apart in terms of finding a good serving target. and coming back into the match. A few times she's had the lead and then been overtaken at the last minute. So she needs to find a way to get her team to continue to be strong from first point to last point. And one of the things I'm looking at on her side is she hasn't had that connection with her setter. Again, she's got Maddie Bug now instead of Nachi Valentin Anderson. And Betty herself has not been able to put up the numbers. She's only got 2 kills so far on 9 attempts. That's very unusual for a Betty De La Cruz.
We'll see the setters all changed. No one kept their same setters from last week as the draft had a real shuffle. You just saw a look at our live leaderboard there. All the points accumulating as we go. Betty now has Maddie Bug, who gets the start, and then Nusara Tomcom on the bench right now. We'll see how set 2 goes, but that setter connection, especially for someone like Betty, absolutely critical. If she's not able to get what she needs there, we'll see how this match develops when you come to personnel. Jenna Rosenthal to serve as we get started. Team Hens in the blue, De La Cruz Mejia in the orange. Back to Drews. Fought off again. This time Johnson. Here's Bug, little back set to Dixon. Now outside. Drews, that's dealt back by Kaz Brown. What a rally. Dixon again. There it is. They earned that first point.
Yeah, they had to work for it big time, and a good finish there by Tori Dixon. The thing I'm looking at, which is a non-volleyball related, as per usual, Willow Johnson has pulled her hair down. She had it in a bun in the first set. Now it's in a long ponytail. I know there are a couple of players that are superstitious like that. If you don't have a good first set, change something, whether it be something to do with your uniform or your hairstyle or your knee pads or something. I know Kelsey Robinson-Cook and the national team does that, so keep an eye on that, and let's see if it helps for Willow in the second set.
Hair up, lost the first. Hair down, to be determined.
Yep, those things can make a difference.
Back to Dixon. That's in for a point. Well, we just talked about the setter experience here for De La Cruz Mejia, and Maddie Bug working well with Dixon on a couple of those back sets. They've seen points as a result, and now in front 2-1. That was tough to handle. Casanova, good help from Brown. Oh, Betty putting that across. Another big block, but it's out of play. And the point will go to Team Hens.
It doesn't pay off, but I loved that set by Henline. You often talk about when middle blockers get a chance to touch that second ball, everyone kind of holds their breath. That was a perfect set to Betty. Didn't go their way, but it's a good sign of things to come.
And that's long, but we may get a second look. Key, you feel like that may have been in? We don't get challenges.
I don't get it. Yeah, I have no say in it. However, from where I'm sitting, which is basically the end line, I thought maybe.
We have to get you a flag, and you could make your own signals.
Exactly.
They play on. No one decides to challenge. De La Cruz Mejia comes right back. That's in. And make it now 4-2 in favor of Betty's squad.
Excellent pickup from Valeza Gonsto. And Betty, you know she's going to start getting that look in her eyes.
Kingdom Mitchell had to kind of stutter step for that. What a dig to help keep that alive from Valeza Gonsto, but Hens coming back with the kill. Kaz Brown, the middles for Team Hens. That was an area that we thought might have been lacking in set 1. They activate Kaz Brown here.
Yeah, and I think Nati, the problem was she tried. She had one misconnection with Kaz, and also then Jenna Rosenthal got blocked, so she went away from them, but she has to integrate that back into her strategy, surely.
Into the antenna, off the block, the point to De La Cruz Mejia.
There you go. Change of winds there for Willow Johnson. And she's on the outside spot. That's not her comfortable spot, but still utilizing that mismatch in the block.
Thomas Ayalara. Hens is there. Velez Agosto. Now Drews. Betty diving to keep that in play. Back row now, Kingdon Rischel finds a home. 5-4.
Again, Rischel the one to clean it up. We saw a few players trying. Look at that, comes off her hand. It's so high past the block and just tags the end line. That's pretty much perfection.
He's got 12 kills now. And Drews returns fire. Danny Drews adds to her tally. This is similar to set one. Again, Team De La Cruz Mejia able to be the aggressor. They don't run away with it, but they build a lead. They got to a comfortable lead last time in the teens, and then Team Hens made their move. A touch, but also is in that back corner and give the point to Team Hens and Temi Thomas Ayalara.
Something's not functioning right on the orange side because that's a perfect serve, way out of system. Nati has to put it out. There's two blockers up, and yet Hens' team's still able to score. I'm gonna watch this space.
Casanova. Betty from the back row, Hens again. Superwoman out of nowhere to keep that alive. But the point goes to Team De La Cruz Mejia.
All right, Hensville in the house again. Reads it, sees it, moves quick and early. Great out-of-system play there to try and keep it alive. But the blockers then, they know exactly where the ball's going.
Amazing reaction time from Hens.
Two players on the floor.
Near collision there. It's Drews and doesn't get the friendly roll there as that bounces off the tape. Betty came up there holding her right elbow a little bit. As it was near collision there with Johnson.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want is an injured Betty.
She's taking a beat here to just self-assess.
Collision between Betty and Willow Johnson, was it?
Betty and Willow Johnson. There's a shot. De La Cruz Mejia holding that right arm. See if we get a second look, Key. So on the right side of your screen, these two come together.
And it does look like her arm gets kind of just jammed underneath Willow there. Kind of in an awkward position, might have over-rotated it, might have just got jammed on the elbow. I mean, there's so many things that could have happened. Betty as well loves a little bit of a slowdown. I mean, she's a veteran of all veterans. So if there's an opportunity for her to see the momentum happening on the blue side and try to calm it with a little bit of extra time, she'll take it.
Shakes it off, seems to still be favoring it a bit, but she'll stay on. Nothing wrong with getting a breather, right?
Yeah, for real.
And they take advantage. Dixon back with the kill.
I love this Bug-Dixon connection. I love seeing a middle get involved. You have to. You cannot keep just going high outside, high to the pins, using the power. This is the volleyball strategy you want to see.
Speaking of middles, Kaz Brown up high.
Let's go, Nati. Finally, this is the Nati that I'm used to seeing. She's utilizing everyone. She doesn't love to just go with one swinger. And of course, Maddie Kingdon Rischel, dominant. However, Kaz Brown gets involved. This is a strong side.
Casanova serving. Bug back to Dixon. They are working quite well together. Another connection there.
All right, I'm here for it. Middle for middle for middle. Let's go. Let's just have this whole match be all about the middle scoring.
Dixon to serve now. And that will say it's a pancake there. I thought that one hit the floor. Johnson and Betty there. Again coming together. Now Johnson. And then on the block, out of play from Handline.
I would love to see that ball again that Betty claims to have had up, because I'm pretty sure that got a big chunk of the floor. Oh, tough to tell, but again, it's Willow and Betty. The communication not quite there. So again, the question that we had in the beginning of this match, why Betty's choosing Willow, I thought it might have been because they just really feel each other well on the court. That does not seem to be the case.
A couple of collisions, as you mentioned, not the connections they're looking for just yet as Handline goes wide there, make it 9-9. Here in the second. Their total match score underneath the set score. So Hens in front overall now, 37-35. Betty a little off balance, but she'll take it. Falls off the attempted block and drops in for the kill.
Yeah, that's not the ball Betty wants to go rip on, but of course she was brought in. The serving strategy working really well from Hens' side. They got it on Betty, made her move. She's then uncomfortable to take a swing.
Bug goes middle again. Looking outside, Thomas Ayalara. Betty again, just pushing that across. Thomas Ayalara and Hensel watch that one go out of play and earn the point for her squad. 10-10.
I'm starting to watch Betty's face as things get more and more difficult, right? She's feeling all of the weaknesses being exposed in this new team, and I think how she responds is going to be crucial for her team. She's got to keep faith in them and instill confidence in them.
Attack there from Team Hens. It's off the mark and give a point back. And well, she's done this before, right? She's had to assemble a new roster each week. Someone vital to her approach has been drafted by someone else. So yeah, she's had to go through this time and again, as we'll get a challenge looking back at that last play. So she'll just being asked to dig deep once more, right? And help her team out of a hole.
So we're looking at a challenge, ball in or out. They don't look completely confident, but I think it's a good, I do think it's a good strategy to use one of the challenges here, because they're still kind of at that inflection point in the middle of the set. Was it in? Was it in? Was it in? Oh, tough to tell. Tough to tell.
That's closer than I thought. I was with you when I first heard challenge. I thought this is going to end up not being close at all, but
Nati pointing in. I'm not sure if she's asking. Who's she asking? She's looking over at us. We can't give you the answer.
And the call stands, so it was not in. It was indeed out as ruled. And so De La Cruz Mejia in front 11-10. And Betty here to serve. The veteran from the Dominican Republic. The 2022 champion here in AU Pro Volleyball. Thomas Ayalara, and that's long. So again, Team Orange able to push back in front, 12-10.
And neither team seems to get a full momentum swing. Neither team looks completely in control at any given time. There's still kind of some choppy plays, some awkward miscommunications, but if anyone can get things back in flow, it's Betty in her serve.
Drews at the net going up against Valentina Anderson and took full advantage of her height.
And here's another way we talk about Betty taking control of a match. Tough top spin serve, gets that overpass, and then Drews can just clean it up with that mismatch in height.
3-point run here for De La Cruz Mejia in front, 13-10 now. Long set, and again, Velez Agosto and Betty colliding there in the back. And they'll give the point to Team Hens. It's been a tough couple of sets here for Betty.
Yeah, interesting what's going on there. I'm a little curious because she's gone in for that role when I think you just assume that Velez Agosto is going to get it. And then a double called on Bug.
But they get one back, courtesy of Danny Drews.
Drews just quietly efficient. 8 kills now, but she's had 28 attempts. So she's getting a lot of balls thrown up in her direction, where on the other side, the same thing for Kingdon Rochelle, getting 12 kills in that situation. So if you want someone to just clean things up, Danny prefers maybe a higher, faster ball. Not going to be the player to really be that aggressive if the ball is out of system.
Drews closing in on 100 kills on the season. Came in with 85 tonight. Johnson. The block up front, Dixon and Johnson standing tall. And so Team De La Cruz Mejia, the first to 15 here in the second, up 3, looking to hold off a Hens rally. Second set action, Team De La Cruz Mejia leading Team Hens by 3. Our overall score remains tight, 41-40. Rep your favorite volleyball athlete. The AU Pro Shop has player t-shirt options available for the entire 2024 roster in both youth and adult. Check out our online store at shop.auprosports.com.
Do they sell those ears as well?
They
those
should now.
Unicorn
unicorn ears would be a fantastic addition to the shop. So. We have a couple of unicorns out here on the court. Some people that are truly impressive, like these two.
Yeah, these two of the best at what they do. And surprisingly, or not, depending if you know what you know about Athletes Unlimited, they've been captains before. In week 1, these two faced off against each other, and Betty De La Cruz came out on top. But completely new squads. These are the names of the players that returned from that squad when they met last time. Everyone else completely fresh. Not only that, but they're fresh from last week as well. So there's been a lot of chopping and changing. We know that's a part of the Athletes Unlimited sort of style, but it just seems like neither of these teams have been getting in a flow just yet.
Yeah, really a bit of a struggle to get some consistency, it seems, and we were talking about it. Is that because the rosters have changed so drastically? Is it just the natural pacing of the start of a new weekend of new teams, and come Sunday, come Monday, these will be well-oiled machines? Hard to tell, but you've seen little fits and spurts of really sharp play, and then it's dropped off and then come back as you see the good placement there. Meanwhile, the leaderboard points continue to accumulate here for everything you're seeing individually, and then of course 40 more points available for whoever wins the set here. Betty off the dish from Bug. Free ball here. Casanova uses that block to perfection, and Valentine Anderson loves it.
I love to see the joy as well between players, and sometimes you'll see it more when someone else scores. And that's what's so beautiful about this league, is the selflessness, because no one's thinking, I'm getting my points, I'm getting my kills, I'm getting my score. They're thinking, I'm so happy my teammate just was successful.
Drew's a big swing. Hustle there from Johnson, a meeting at the net. We play on. Back row for Betty. Loads up the cannon.
Locked and loaded. Betty, I feel there becomes, in every match, there seems like one tipping point. And she's been holding back, holding back. This seems to be the moment for me when Betty starts to look like a caged animal set free.
Casanova just got underneath that one and put it far and away, make it 17-14. Big moment here for De La Cruz Mejia, again, holding a nice lead, inching towards 25. Team Hens made their push around this time in the first set. Little off balance, but it all worked for Kaz Brown. Had to kind of hang for that pass from Valentine Anderson, and then able to deliver.
And I keep looking at the overall score, 43-43. So yes, we're talking about taking one set or another, but that overall score, so much more important in terms of point gathering.
60 points if you can win the match. Casanova, a service error there, -8 points for her tally, as we showed you our leaderboard not too long ago.
That's 3 service errors for Casanova, and no aces as of yet. I know she's bringing pressure, she's putting power on that serve, but that balance, kind of out of balance, that serve risk-reward ratio.
Yeah, you love aggressive serving, right? But at some point, especially in these tight matches, can come back to burn a team. Kingdon Rischel finds a home.
Clever shot by Rischel. That's something she has in her toolkit. Again, we're used to seeing her with power. She loves to take a real heavy close with her feet to finish and convert all that power into her arm, but sometimes just tips it right over, and it's effective as well.
Bug looking for Betty, and De La Cruz Mejia. Well, she's unleashed the cannon here a couple of times lately, Key, bringing some heat on these attacks.
Yeah, and you have to feed the beast when you start to see that look in her eye. And look, she's paired up with Nati on the other side. It's a perfect chance for her to get that ball, slice it down the line.
Demi Thomas Ayalara. Drews will try and track this down. She gets there in time. Back row for Kingdon Rischel. And all Bug can do is watch that one sail away. Again, the good hustle just couldn't keep that one alive.
This performance by Rischel is starting to look like what we saw in the first couple of weeks when she was really shouldering the load. She's at 16 points already by herself. No one else on her team yet in double digits.
She had 9 kills last Friday night, already well above that mark. Betty fights that one off at the net. To the middle. Casanova with a dig that almost knocked her over. But then give a point to the team in orange. Coming right back is Kayla Handline.
We saw some huge efforts by her last weekend. And she's starting to get into her groove. Only 5 points on the board so far. Looks a little frustrated in herself, in her own play, that she hasn't been able to get those block touches that she's wanted.
Tied an AU record, 7 solo blocks on Monday. That is an excellent day of work. We have a challenge now, it looks like.
I think that last one was her first solo complete block. But now they're challenging that maybe she was in the net. I don't think so. Did you see anything like that, Greg?
Well, you know, I don't have a good percentage right now, Key, on my reviews. We're going to take a look at the monitor.
Oh, okay, so that was the block before. which looks like it might have been. There might have been a little block touch there, or a little net touch.
But that wasn't the one that we were.
That was, yeah, that wasn't the last play. So they're asking.
I think now you're getting clarification.
Yeah, so there's confusion. They want to make sure they see the correct play. I'm not sure if they're even seeing that on the board.
Thomas Robson, the facilitator for Team Hents, and the rest of the bench up to look at a different play, perhaps.
So Hents just clearly explaining what it is she wants to look at, because the play that we looked at, I do have to be honest with you, it looked like there was a little bit of net movement from some elbows or something. We didn't get a clean look at the elbows, but there was some jiggling.
What was interesting was the challenge call came right after the handline block, which seemed like a pretty cut and dry play.
Yeah.
So that's what we all thought we were going to go and look back at.
Well, I guess we move on. That could have been a game changer there. That's a 3-point swing versus a 1-point swing.
It stays a 3-point edge now for De La Cruz Mejia. You're exactly right. That would have cut it down 19-18, make it a much different situation. Thomas Ayalara, able to keep that alive. Great hustle down low. But then handline getting locked in here late adds another.
Yeah, again, getting your middles involved, getting those different pieces of the puzzle. A scrappy defensive play on the blue side, but handline, I think she could be a game changer here down the stretch.
Out of Northern Iowa, from Nebraska. Looking for Johnson. Johnson's been fairly quiet thus far. As Agosto with the overpass there on that dig. And the block, handline again. Johnson up front.
There's the handline Johnson combination we're used to seeing. Low and tight and taking away all the daylight is Kayla Handline.
And that was all handline. Plus 12 on the solo denial. 22-17, we'll get a timeout called as De La Cruz Mejia just a couple away from taking this second set. They've also pushed in front in the overall score, 48-45. And it seemed as if, Key, just a few points ago, we're talking about a lack of continuity, a little discombobulation, but Team De La Cruz Mejia now, they've found their footing.
I love when you use the word discombobulation.
Once a set, we'll just squeeze that in.
Classic. I mean, you couldn't describe it any better. The discombobulation on the blue side is exactly what's going wrong. Just a couple of things here and there, some miscommunications, some swings straight in the block, but now this orange side is looking much more clean, much more coherent, and that is shown in those blocks, those closed blocks that are taking away space.
Be sure to follow AU Pro Volleyball on Instagram to see exclusive content featuring your favorite AU players, including highlights, mic'd ups, behind the scenes, action, and more. AU Pro Volleyball on IG. Hashtag AU Pro VB. We're here in the second, 22-17. Still some daylight here for Team Hents to try and work their way back in. We gave you a little idea, Key, of what the group in orange has done well. When Team Hents has been clicking in the second set, what can they try and return to?
Well, I'm looking back at the first set, and I got 13 points for Maddie Kingdon-Richel. Only 4 in the second. So not only are they not really utilizing their middles, but now their go-to attacker isn't being able to score either. So that was a big part of their comeback win in the first. And I think if they can get that going again, they could have a good chance of fighting back into this. But 5-point deficit, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's a pretty big hill to climb. You see our overall leaderboard. We'll see in first place, Brittany Abercrombie coming up next. Movement here on that leaderboard, your stat points factor in, of course, your win points, 40 points up for grabs for whoever can take this second set. And then, of course, don't forget about the 60 points for the match, also MVP points as well. A lot of ways to earn here in Athletes Unlimited.
Well, both these two teams have everything. They're all laughing a little bit because they played the dog vlog in the gym, and Heidi Casanova with her baby doggy is a fan favorite now.
There are a lot of pets in Athletes Unlimited. You look up and down the bios. A lot of dogs, a few cats sprinkled in.
I mean,
the turtle. There's a turtle. Someone has a turtle.
There it is. Speedy, yeah. Haven't met him yet.
We're back to it here. 22-17. Over to Drews. Bug back set to Johnson. Drews again. Well, that seemed to be signal long, but it touches the call, and so it does go off of Team Hens, make it 23-17. 4 straight points for De La Cruz Mejia, trying to finish with a flourish here to close out the second. First 4-0 run by either side in this one. On the move. That was Rosenthal. Now back to Johnson. Hens is there. Johnson again. Second time is the charm for Willow Johnson. And that will bring up set point here in the second.
Set point and a 5-0 run. That's indicative of exactly what's going on the orange side. Tough serving and really impressive cohesion.
Betty with a chance to finish things off. Second kill so far for Willow Johnson. Back row, Kingdon Rischel. Overpass. Hens can't get there in time. The hand line polishes it off. And that's all for the second. Team De La Cruz Mejia battling back to win a 25-17. They also build a cushion in our overall match total, 51-45. Everyone in orange earns 40 points after this one.
Watch you fly, touch the skies, rise up so high. Yeah, you must be supernatural. Fly, touch the sky, rise up so high.
Not sure why we had to see me completely miss that ball that came over to the scoring table here, but it's now there for everyone to see.
Sports is hard. Sports is hard,
It is. And I'm a trained athlete. 25-17 the score in the second, 51-45 the more important number overall for Team De La Cruz Mejia. And one reason they pushed ahead, Key, was Danny Drews.
Yeah, we knew she was going to be one of the top picks. She was the top pick for Betty, but they hadn't played together. She's the 7th in kills in the league right now. But was she going to be that complement for Betty? It was a little shaky in the first, but she stepped up in the second with some dominant play, just taking care of those balls. She got a lot of opportunities to swing, finding ways around the block, into the block, hands over the block. Just a few different tools in her toolkit this set.
Our look at stats through 2, and you highlighted the kills number after 1. We see it just update there in real time here. Team Hens still in front, but Team De La Cruz doing some work to climb back in.
Yeah, and that number that's highlighted, that is indicative of Team Hens just rolling over from the first set. However, I'm looking at the blocks. 8 blocks to 4. Team De La Cruz Mejia have been more dominant in that aspect, and I think they picked up their serving. They made it easier to sort of understand where the ball was going. And De La Cruz herself, from the end line, much more aggressive than she was in the first set. Again, we talk about her kind of turning it on, that spark plug that her team needed. She was that.
Started to give a couple of big swings, and that just felt like a real turning point. And you even foreshadowed a bit and said at some point in every match, right, or in every set, there's a little bit of a moment that kind of defines the way the rest of it will go. And for me, I think back to 2 big swings from Betty kind of energized the rest of her group.
Yeah, and things were a little choppy in the first, right? As she fell with Willow, there was that collision. There were a couple of balls that just fell on the ground that she wasn't happy with, and you saw it on her face. And I'm not sure what she will have said in a timeout or within a huddle, but you can see in her eyes what she's thinking. She wears her heart on her sleeve. And I think that rubs off on our team. They see, all right, now is the time to turn it on. Betty's getting serious, let's go.
We also talked about the setter spot and a change across the board for all the setters. Team De La Cruz Mejia going with Maddie Bug, 24 assists. As you see Betty and Maddie right there. In that first set, you talked a bit about the connections. Bug turns to Dixon. They connect well for a couple of points in a row, and that seemed to really get the passing a bit more aligned.
And that's the thing. If you can open up some other pieces of the puzzle, right? If you're relying only on Betty to do the scoring and she's not connecting with Bug, that's a great point that you make, Greg. Utilize some other pieces. Tori Dixon was fantastic in that second set.
Also, if you are keeping track, and key is Willow Johnson, hair up, lost a set. Hair down, won a set. Hair stays down for the third.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, you know, look at play good. In that second set, Willow Johnson had 3 points. Still not her highest, not her best numbers, but better than the first.
Well, if you watched her last weekend too, she was such a force, and so I think you'd naturally expect that to carry over, but there's all these other pieces you have to think about. We've talked about the setter, the passing connection, as a block is there from Temi Thomas-Ayalara, and its team hence off to a 2-0 start here in the third.
Something I'm always watching out for is the setter choices. So we talked about the middle being a bigger part of that second set. Temi Thomas-Ayalara knows that as well. She's looking at the same stats, remembering the same set, and that's a perfect close.
Valentin Anderson to serve now. Back set there, down the line. The initial call is out, but everyone in orange signaling for a captain's challenge. Or did they adjust that call to rule a touch? It looks like they did. The initial call was out. Everyone in orange signaled for a touch, and then looks like the up referee made the decision that it in fact was a touch and give it back to De La Cruz Mejia. Back to Betty, back in business, 2-2.
Betty not taking any chances this time around, not waiting until halfway through the set, demanding the ball, putting it down. She didn't, I felt like the connection wasn't quite there, but as soon as she gets a good ball, she's gonna take a rip.
Soft touch from Thomas-Ayalara. Johnson. Casanova keeps that alive. Back row for Drews. Casanova blasting it off that back row. And Haiti Casanova, again, in some real extended playing time here after not getting much time the last few weeks, making the most of it, coming back with another kill there. She now has 8.
Yeah, I like Hens giving a couple of opportunities to fresh faces on her side. Temi Thomas-Ayalara, one of them Haiti Casanova, and an ace from Thomas-Ayalara right on cue.
Temi Thomas-Ayalara make it 4-2.
And she is just dropping it in that conflict zone, targeting the middle and the opposite. That's money.
Kingdon Rischel. Multiple hands on Team Hens. Got a piece of that. Nobody could control the firepower from De La Cruz Mejia.
And you can see on Team Hens, one change that's been made already. Lauren Page is into that middle blocking spot, and I had questions for Morgan Hens. Why did you take 3 middles immediately before you'd even taken your opposite? She said, we needed to make sure we had that defense in place. A couple players working through some injuries, wanted to be sure of it.
Page, the middle out of Oregon from Riverside, California, and on cue, delivering.
There you go. She's looking healthy, she's looking fit, she's looking like a spark plug that Hens might need in this match, in this last set.
Plugs are in and they keep cruising. 5-3 now, the lead for Team Hens. Page now 33 kills on the year. Drews, major stuff up front, Kaz Brown.
Kaz Brown, another player I'm keeping my eye on because she's just sneaky. sneaky good. Low and tight, closes to Casanova. Good point.
To the middle. Tough one to handle on the overpass, and Drews hammers it down. Danny Drews, a star at the University of Utah, 4 times a All-America pick. He's now played internationally, now here in Athletes Unlimited. He was in the 2022 season, returning now in 24 as that one goes long.
That looked like it almost skimmed Morgan Hens on the
Yes.
way through, but some matrix moves to make sure she didn't.
Over to Johnson, tries to redirect that to the back line. Kingdon Rischel, soft touch. Back to Drews, blocked and it falls in.
Kaz Brown again doing work at the net. And there were a few different pieces of that rally that I loved. The defense, then the set, no spin on it outside. Kingdon Rischel with the soft touch, as you mentioned, but the finish there from Brown. This blue side looking dangerous.
Now 15 blocks on the year for Brown. Drews tries to crush that off the block. Kingdon Rischel. She was so huge in the first, kind of limited in the second, and now back to work.
Yeah, we called it out. We needed a little bit more of her. There she is. But even the things that are going well are the smaller things. Like the block from Kaz Brown didn't go straight down, but it's a touch. It's a slowdown. And sometimes that's just as good to get your team in a flow, get them able to transition for a point.
Timeout called. Team Hens out in front 9-4, down 1 overall. Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball is sponsored by Nike.
Are you ready to kill it today?
Always.
You better be. Yeah. Yeah. Don't think, just do.
Okay, okay.
Clean on the inside, clean on the outside. Come on, pumpkin spice. And all things nice. Sorry, you're scaring me when you're standing next to me. I didn't know she was playing defense too. Huh? That Team De La Cruz for the win. Vamos, vamos. Also, because her ball is high, I feel like maybe try finishing your move a little bit because you're like here, and I feel like that's why the ball's going that way. Yeah! So good! Good job. Great timing. Good job. Brick wall is big! Go! Go! Yes! Yes!
pumpkin spice and all things nice. Love that from Willow Johnson. And not her giving middle blocking advice. Yes, Willow, queen. I mean, Hannah, one of the best blockers out there, but I love that communication. I feel like that is the key to a good team, when you're able to speak clearly and openly with each other and give good feedback.
Seeing that from Willow Johnson from Paradise Valley, Arizona. Her 3rd season, Athletes Unlimited. And gets the swing here. And comes up with the kill.
Another thing we saw in that little mic'd up session is her and Betty before the game speaking, and Betty saying, don't think, just do. And she told me last week that what she was having trouble finding her rhythm, and she'd had that conversation with Betty, even though they weren't teammates. And that's exactly what she had told her, and it worked out. So maybe that's why Betty bringing her back onto her team for this week.
We are unraveling the mystery key as this day goes on. Kingdon Rischel. And Team Hens gets a point here. I think we may have a challenge, perhaps. There's some gestures from De La Cruz Mejia. Maybe they've decided against it, however.
Yeah, it looked like that was a big stuff block in real time, but being called off the hands and out, so on we go.
10-5 the lead for Team Hens. Casanova there with the dig. Kingdon Rischel and Velez Agosto could not keep it in play on the big swing from Addie Kingdon Rischel.
Set 3 is starting to feel like Hens's set. Things coming together, the momentum, the mojo, if you will, is starting to look really good.
56 all, by the way, in the overall match score. Thomas Ayala.
Oh.
Off the tape. Bug keeps that alive. Here's Johnson. At the net, Dixon, Hens, and they cannot keep it going. All smiles with a lot of hustle on both sides.
Hustle play, but how about that burst up from Haiti Casanova? This is why Hens was talking about her team being defense-minded, and this is what she's put together, a team that's back-to-back defenses. Couldn't go their way in the end, but I'm loving the hustle.
Hens again laying out, as is Velez Agosto. Over to De La Cruz Mejia, Kaz Brown, major block.
Ooh, that one was spicy. Kaz Brown. I'm having a look here and thinking, why on earth is Betty not targeting the line there? Why is she not going over her former setter, Nati Valentin Anderson? That's the mismatch there.
12-6 now. No one home, miscommunication. The set was off the mark for De La Cruz Mejia. She just pushes it across and it falls in.
Sometimes it's that simple, really. We sometimes overcomplicated this game a little bit. And Betty is seeing that no one's jumping on her, right? Both the blockers kind of stayed down, waited. The problem is, if you're not going to block, ideally you want to pull off the net and cover that little zone, because the defenders, if you're not blocking, they have to hang deep. They have to expect that hard-driven ball.
A classic don't think, just do moment.
Exactly.
A touch and the point to Team Hens. 13-7. We're even overall at 58. Here's Valentin Anderson, the setter, went to Florida International from Puerto Rico. Cruz, big windup and crushes that one. Valentin Anderson was there, but couldn't keep it in play, make it 13-8. And at this point, certainly De La Cruz Mejia would love to win the set as well, Key, but they're keeping an eye on that overall match total. They're up 1 now, 59-58.
So close, and every single point is important.
Got a challenge on tap here. Captain's challenge under review. Now we Go to our first chair chat. Welcome in Tori
Tori.
Dixon. Tori, thanks for joining us.
And it's Sarah's right here. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi, both of you.
I'm like, I don't know if she's in there, but she's right there. Of course. Hi.
Well, Tori, thanks for stopping by and talking with us. Just tell us a bit about the shift there in that second set for your team, the way you all battled back and were able to take up the win 25-17.
Yes, I think it was a true team effort, if I'm being honest. After the first set, the biggest adjustment we wanted to make was we wanted to slow down their outside hitters. I think Maddie and Temi both were killing us, especially in the seam. So we made a little bit of a blocking adjustment there, took a little more cross court. Middle's just really emphasizing that side of the court, and it really, really worked out. So we need to bring that same energy now.
And in terms of offense, Tori, you were the top scorer in the second set. Was that something you talked about? Hey, let's get the middle more involved?
No. But I think it's a testament to like our passing and like just getting in more of a rhythm, digging a few more balls, getting in better spots. So that's awesome. Didn't know that. But we really focus on the defensive side of things going into the second set because they hit for a really, really high number.
I'm glad you mentioned the passing. We're talking a bit about setters changing for every team. It seemed like you and Maddie got into a good rhythm there with a couple of back sets to you. That seemed to build a little continuity for your offense.
Yes, I think it's really important in this league, especially just to mix up the offense. It's a little outside heavy, which is awesome because they are really, really good attackers. So we just want to run the back row a little bit, get the middle involved, and just really spread the offense. So good job, Maddie Bug. Good job, passers. Just trying to keep that going now.
Tori Dixon, thanks for stopping by. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Bye.
I love the chair chats with the middles, specifically because we get them right, and she's barely out of breath. You know, she's just off the court. It's so fun.
Meanwhile, 14-11 here, Team Hens. De La Cruz Mejia up 3, 62-59 overall, and add another.
They are not going quietly, and it's interesting. We talked about Betty's team having the advantage early days and then losing it. Now they're in the opposite situation where they're having to scrap back, but again, you can never count out Betty's side.
Too much intensity, too much experience for that group, and even though they trail 14-12 as Team Hens calls for time, the bigger score is the one beneath. They're in front 63-59. Right now the race is on to 20. Who can get there first when you talk about your overall match total? So again, a set point total of 40 available for whoever wins this third set, but then you have your match point total of 60 that is also hanging in the balance. Someone could snag 100 here, Kate.
Yeah, big swing in the balance. And again, these wins, the overall wins, one of the most crucial ingredients in terms of point scoring and climbing the leaderboard.
How would you like to have the chance to win a volleyball autograph by all the AU Pro Volleyball athletes? Well, now you can. Go to auprosports.com/enter to register today. Well, we've got more AU Pro Volleyball to come. 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Team Abercrombie, Team Member Mene. This should be a good one, Keith.
It's going to be so fun, and I can't wait to break down the draft strategy for you all if you do watch it, because there was one player taken for the first time in Athletes Unlimited history of volleyball. A middle blocker was taken first overall, and I'm here for it. But let's remember Mene in that captain's role. She's put together a really strong squad. Brittany Abercrombie has been the player to chase all season long. So I'm so pumped to see these two go head to head.
Finally, vindication for the middles, Key.
Yes,
a top
finally.
Overall pick. As you see, they're waiting in the wings here, the gold squad. Team Abercrombie will be
getting her hair done as well. See, it all comes back to the way your hair looks, how you feel, how you're, look good, play good, we always say.
I'm the wrong person to ask about the hairstyles, but I can appreciate the impact it has on the court. Willow Johnson, as we noted, with the hair down now, trying to take the overall match here. 63-59, that's the score to look at. Again, 20, the point total to reach for either side here to secure that match victory. As De La Cruz Mejia serving. Les Agosto. Back to Betty. Hence, can she get there in time? Runs into a scoreboard. And the point to De La Cruz Mejia.
This is why Betty's team is relentless. She is feeling it right now, just from off the net, not a full approach, but a full swing nonetheless.
And what a difference, right, from the first set. 4-0 run now for the team in orange. Everything's starting to come together here for Team De La Cruz Mejia. Quick set to Page. Drews stuffed. They go right back. Hentz is there for the dig. Casanova denied. Drews turns her back.
Drews stepping up in a big way there. That's a really tough swing for Casanova. It's flat, it's a little low, it's right into the bottom of the block, and Drews pouncing on it.
14 all. De La Cruz Mejia, you see if they can get to 40, or rather the 20, they will take the match. Kingdon Rischel. Drews again working that block. And Team De La Cruz Mejia, they've now come all the way back in this set. They go in front 15-14.
And I think sometimes we forget Danny Drews is a lefty, or at least I do, because she looks so comfortable there in that outside spot. Typically we see right-handers swinging on the outside and left-handers swinging on the right side, but she's tough to block against only because blockers have to line up a little differently than they would. They've got to take some different angles than if she's a right-hand attacker.
That is long on the attack, so make it 15 all. Team De La Cruz Mejia, meanwhile, they were down 6. 12-6, 13-7. They've battled all the way back. They just were in front by 1, but they have made this set a battle once more here, even at 15, and up 6 overall. Page gives a point back there.
And this is why sometimes we talk about serving being so important. Betty going on a run there with her serve, creeping some points back into her own pocket, and then the blue side going straight in the net on the first serve. That's the difference. If you're going to make an error, at least go a few points in a row before you do it.
Overpass there. Betty from the back row. Kingdon Rischel, the soft touch, and that will fall in. A much-needed point here for Team Hentz. And Marley Monzere will come on now, giving Haiti Casanova a breather.
That surprises me because Casanova's been pretty good in the defense. She's had 21 digs so far. That's more than anyone else.
Dixon, just talked to her moments ago in the chair chat. Drews goes long on her attack.
And as you start to get down the stretch towards the end of the set, this is when every error, yes, for your individual points is important, but more so for the overall score. You have to keep that in mind.
See the service errors there from Team Hentz. Willow Johnson. Kingdon Rischel. That was an expert attack from Maddie Kingdon Rischel.
I love watching her in out-of-system play, even more than in-system. So that's a bump set from her libero. 2 blockers are up on her. She gets there strong with her feet and carves down that inside angle past the block. That is textbook.
18-16 here. Hentz has gone back in front in the set, still trailing overall. Drews. Kingdon Rischel. Velez Agosto is there. Drews right back and powers it past the defense.
We've gone away from the middles again, and we're starting to just see power for power, big gun for big gun. If I'm the setter here, I gotta sneak in a Tori Dixon or a Kaz Brown. That has to become or continue to be part of the offense because the blockers are starting to read.
Start to go to that muscle memory, right? Things get tight, looking for some guaranteed points. You go to the outside, but they get a middle involved there, Brown. Back to her. Johnson off the block, and the point is there for De La Cruz Mejia.
And that's why the middle gets less ball than maybe the other players because it's more of a risk, right? And you saw that from Nati. She had to swing that flat. Kaz not getting a great ball, and it becomes a free ball for the other side. That's the risk there.
Kingdon Rischel, long run here. We go to Dixon. The block is there from De La Cruz Mejia. Dixon and Bug up front. 19-18, but 70-63 match point has come up here for De La Cruz Mejia. If they get to 20, they'll take the overall match victory. Thomas Ayala hammers that off the block. And Team Hens stays alive in this match for a little bit longer.
And that's a good work by Thomas Ayala. She had 3 blockers up on her. Maddie Kingdon was on the floor, so almost everyone knew that ball was going to her.
The ace, Kingdon Rischel.
Huge serve from Rischel, cross court, zone 1 to zone 1, and on the libero, making Velez Augusto take a step between her and Betty. That channel of communication, always a good idea.
Their first ace of the night. Thomas Ayala laying out, they'll put it across. Dixon drops that in, and De La Cruz Mejia secures the match victory as they reach 20 points. So 60 points to everyone in orange, and still a chance to win the set and add another 40. And that's a great effort by De La Cruz Mejia after Team Hens took the first, had opportunities in the second, but Betty and company buckling down, winning the second going away, and then taking the overall match. Here's Thomas Ayala. Team's captained by Betty this season, 8-2 now. Only losses have come to Team Abercrombie.
They can't take the overall, but here is where it's important for Team Hens to remember how many points are on the line if they can take this set. Keep Hens in the run for a captain's chair next weekend.
40 points available if they can take this set, which is still very much right there for the taking. A captain's challenge here by De La Cruz Mejia. And that is a quick adjudication of that challenge.
Yeah, ball right on the corner there.
(21-20) Team Hens. Thomas Ayala off the block, make it 22-20 Hens.
Thomas Ayala, someone I continue to be impressed with. She's up at 13 points now, but she's getting these high balls, she's getting out of system plays, finding crucial moments to take some of that pressure off Kingdon Rischel.
Dixon hammers that off Brown. Middle on middle violence there.
Nah, we would never. We only ever make these. Always with a smile, though. The friendly assassins we are, middle blockers.
Briggs Romine returns. Good dig there. And that is into the antenna.
I can't help but laugh because Nati, for me, loves volleyball more than anyone I've ever seen. You can see it when she goes sprawling for a play like that and comes up with a smile on her face. She just loves those difficult moments, probably more than anyone I think out there on court. And I think she would have had that if it hadn't tagged the net.
Betty there to console her a bit. Service error now, 23-22.
Actually back to serve now. She loves that cross-court flat serve. She was targeting Velez Agosto the last round before.
And she's in position here. If that's the way Valentin Anderson decides to go. Instead, she goes after Betty. And Betty goes after the ball. 23 all here in the third. So again, De La Cruz Mejia, they've secured the match victory. Set points up for grabs here.
And I think we talk about this week over week. Betty is often not the serving target. Doesn't matter who's next to her, probably don't serve her.
Thomas Ayala comes back with a kill. Give her +8 individually. And here's set point in the third. 40 points available for everyone on Team Hens if they can wrap this up. 24-23. Back to Betty. Hens off the ceiling, takes a tricky bounce and falls in. We're even at 24. Well, they serve Betty again.
Why? I have to keep asking why, because they've had a lot of success with that cross-court serve, going to Noma. They've got Danny in the middle back. Betty with her hands overhead or that platform, take it short, take it long. She's pretty much a solid serving reception.
24 all here in the third. Kingdon Rischel, Velez Agosto. To Drews, they'll call a touch and give the point to De La Cruz Mejia. Team Hens in disbelief. Will there be a challenge is the question.
I think Temi Thomas-Alara was the one who touched it, and she might be looking now at Hens saying, no, you probably don't want to challenge it. I think I did. The struggle is you got to be honest with your captain at the very least. There's a little bit of drama, a little bit of acting in the first instances to try and get it overturned. Don't think there was a touch at the net. But then watch that, just in the back, maybe got a nick of it.
They decide against the challenge, and now it is set point for the team in orange. Casanova. Finds the back line, Haiti Casanova.
Crucial turn of events there. And I thought Betty was going to have that done and dusted with her serve. She's the last person you want at the service line when they have set point.
Erin Fair's on now for Team Hens to serve, 25 all. Quick to the middle, Fairs can't keep that in play on the quick set up front. And now set point here in the third once again for De La Cruz Mejia.
Anneline's been solid from the service line as well. She's had 3 errors and 1 ace. Which one's it going to be?
Outside, Kingdon Rischel. Bug is there. Johnson halted.
Kaz Brown having herself a day. It's out of system play, so you know she's going to close that block, and the lefty Willow trying to slice it underneath. Kaz Brown now with 4 blocks.
26 all. Monserrat returns. Drews hammers that inside the block and takes the point. They'll set it up from set point once again for De La Cruz Mejia here in the third. And Willow Johnson to try and close things out. Kingdon Rischel. They'll try her again, goes with the left. Hens with the dig. Kingdon Rischel, Velez Agosto fights it off. Now Drews. Thomas Ayala. Hens, they won't quit.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that point was done and dusted as soon as Betty touched the ball, because she is swinging from off the net. Temi Thomas-Alara doing the same now. She is looking in a similar fashion and a confidence that we haven't seen from her as of yet in the season.
27-27. Violation there. Will go against De La Cruz Mejia, so give the point to Team Hens, and now they'll get a chance after having to ward off a variety of set points. They'll have the opportunity now to pick up this third and final. Looking for Drews. Big block up front, tries it again. Ping pongs around as they keep it alive. Bug, the dump, that works.
Huge spot there from Bug. We haven't seen her dump all set long, all match long. What a time to do it. What a confident play out of the setter.
And now, talk of a challenge.
What are we looking at here? What do we think?
Conversation now between the officials. This would be big right here, of course.
Yeah, if this goes the way of Team Hens, once we find out what they're challenging, I think it looked like 4 touches, but I'm not sure what play the challenge was for. Team Hens needing this set victory to keep her in the run, in the challenge, in the chase for captainship. Trying to read the lips, read the body language. Something went off someone's head. There might have been a pancake somewhere.
So there will be a challenge. Facilitator Thomas Robson out. He was looking to sell this group on the challenge. I'm not sure they saw what he saw.
At the very least, it's a slowdown. Get some momentum back on their side, calm down any run that might have been happening on the orange side. Time to chat strategy. Again, I think for the blue side, they need to clean up their serving target in particular. Something they need to talk about when it comes down to who are they gonna target. Probably not Betty.
Challenge is, was there 4 touches? Let's take a look, Key.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm counting along with you if you're watching at home. I think they were pretty clean. There maybe was something. Maybe Betty got in the way of one of those defenses and might have tagged her arm. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, at first look, hard to pick up on a potential 4th touch there. But again, at this point, into the 3rd, you get a couple of challenges to work with.
Okay,
I think that's the question. Did it hit off Betty there?
Did it hit Betty? She's looking a little suspicious, like she might have gotten away with murder there. I don't think she gets the touch there. On that look, it's a little cleaner.
And the challenge is unsuccessful. The officials agree with you. And it's 28-all as we resume play. And that one goes to Team Hens as Betty is wide.
There you go. Well, there's one reason to call a challenge, even if you're not sure. Down the stretch like this, get Betty cold. Get the players on the orange side thinking a little more about what they're going to do.
Kaz Brown to serve now in this set point for Team Hens. And not just yet. Give it back to De La Cruz Mejia. 29-all.
Now is where I'm starting to see how similar these two teams are. How many pieces they have. And again, this week, we said it in the draft or after the draft, neither team looks completely dominant.
Thomas Ilara at the net. Page able to help. They'll go back to her. And that's down the line and in. Well, you mentioned neither side looking too dominant. Any team that gets assembled that becomes dominant, they eventually get picked apart through the draft.
That's what happened to Betty.
Gold
after
can
week
stay,
1.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do it again. Set point, 30-29 here in the third. Again, 40 important points on the line. And that'll go off of the steel beams and down for a point for De La Cruz Mejia, 30-30, and Maddie Bug, the former Stanford Cardinal, to serve. De La Cruz Mejia takes it off the touch. 31-30. We seesaw back and forth, and now it's over to the team in orange for a chance to take the set and pick up a 100-point third set. Thomas Ilara off the block.
So impressed with her. Over and over again, she's getting these balls in situations where that's a high pressure swing. That's not just a, we're at 5-5, get the ball in. That's a, you must get this ball in order to keep our team alive. And over, she continues to deliver.
31-31 here in the third. Quick to the middle. Easy money for Handline.
Yeah, that serve just a little too soft for my liking. I know it's pressure. I know it's the moment where you want to keep it in, force them to play, but short in front of Drews, that's pretty much a free ball.
32-31, set point for De La Cruz Mejia. Betty to serve. And that's long.
You knew Betty was going to go for it. She's not going to give you a freebie at match point.
32-32. Lauren Page now. Service error. And swing it on back to De La Cruz Mejia.
Page has missed a couple of clutch serves, I'd say. And again, it's that risk reward, but not in that moment.
Handline now. Gives it right back.
Come on, middles, you're making us look bad.
Is fatigue setting in here? 33-33?
It could be, and I think sometimes you get in your own head when you think, all right, I've got to get this ball in, I can't make an error. That's when you start making errors. If you focus on the process, like the toss or the contact or who's your target, it's much better.
Service error over here. And Casanova gives a point back. So 34-33 for Willow Johnson. Kingdon Rischel. Here's Drews. Off the block. And Team Hens will take that point.
Nobody wants to go home. No one has dinner plans, apparently. They're here for the long haul.
They're looking to pad those points. They want to get their individual stat points
That's
up.
true. You only get 3 sets, so you got to, it doesn't
Make
matter
the
if you
most
go
of
to
it.
40-40. Yeah.
Drews. Thomas Ilara off the touch. And over to Team Hens.
Thomas Ilara's efficiency has gone way up since the first couple of sets. Actually, set 2, she was down to a 0% efficiency, and now she's at 53, which is huge for an outside.
Here's set point for Team Hens. Thomas Ilara. Casanova with the dig. Thomas Ilara, and that is all. In this third set, Team Hens outlasts De La Cruz Mejia to get 40 points, but the team in orange They take the overall match and pick up 60 points. And Marathon third, but wait, is there more?
Hang on, we haven't been here long enough, says Betty. There's more to this story. She wants to know, what does she want to know? It was a big swing off the hands. Challenge for net touch, block touch, in or out. I'm not sure Betty even knows. She's relying on Nomaris Velez Agosto to tell her what went wrong.
And yes, we will have a challenge.
A little anticlimactic after an already extremely long set. Hey, but you know what? This is what we're here for. This is the best part of not only volleyball, but Athletes Unlimited. You get to see high-level volleyball, some of the best players in the world, and their best friends. So they're joking around at the same time.
Challenge is on the center line.
Challenge for center line. So is this on the contact of Temi Thomas-Ailara? Perhaps when she comes down from her attack? Maybe from one of the blockers after their block?
This, by the way, Key, we're breaking some records here. This is the highest scoring match total in AU Pro Volleyball history. It surpasses Team Sheila over Team Lowe back in April of 2022. That was 83-81. We're at 85-81 right now. It's also the 7th time in AU history to have a set total 60 or more points. As you see here, we are in at 70 if I do the quick math.
That's awesome. I love breaking records. Betty's always doing some record breaking. All right, so here's the look. Oh, it might be on the set.
You're looking at I think the foot placement of the center line, but none of that will factor. The call stands, and that brings an end to this marathon. Team Hens takes the third, 36-34. So they win 2 of the sets. They pick up 80 points in set victories. But Team De La Cruz Mejia, they get the second. They also pick up the match. 60 points there. And important points for De La Cruz Mejia personally in her chase to return to the captain's chair. Hence also getting some critical points as well, as she wants to stay in that captain spot for our 5th and final week. Once again, our final score, it's 85-81, Team De La Cruz Mejia. Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball continues tonight on ESPN Plus at 9:30 p.m. Eastern as Team Abercrombie faces Team Member Mene. For our entire crew, Key Michael, Greg Meskel saying thanks for watching.